Time to react to my 2022-2023 Premier League predictions. Some of them are good, but some of them are really bad. Like the team that I went for to get relegated, it actually feels disrespectful right now, knowing where they finished in the Premier League. So very, very interesting. Let's see what I predicted in terms of which teams would go down, which teams would finish in the top 6, top 7, champions, top 4, top scorers, all that. So let's get started with what I predicted for bottom of the table. I'm going to go for Nottingham Forest to finish bottom of the table. I can actually see them out of all the games they're going to play against the top 6 teams, the 12 games they're going to play against the top 6 teams. I can even see them winning at least 3 of them. I'd not be surprised if they go to Old Trafford and win against Man United, or come to Arsenal, frustrate us. We go to their place, they beat us. They go to Tottenham and win. I'd not be surprised if they can pick up at least 3 wins against the top teams. I can see that happening, but I don't think the quality of their squad is enough. Well, at the beginning of the season, it looked like that, but Nottingham Forest ended the season on a high, and I actually did predict them to beat a few big teams, especially Arsenal, and yes, they actually did beat Arsenal. They also beat Liverpool. I did predict them to beat like 2 or 3 of the big teams, which they did, and fair play to them for surviving. Almost everyone predicted Nottingham Forest to go straight down, so I'm happy with that prediction. Okay, I'm not happy with that prediction. I'm happy for them staying up, but in terms of the prediction, I think it's one of those predictions that most people made anyway, so I'm not too hard about that one. And kudos to them for surviving. They bought a lot of players. Let's see what happens next season, but Nottingham Forest to finish bottom of the table, that did not come true. What about 19th and 18th? What did I go for? Which team will finish 19th? So I've gone for another promoted team. Unfortunately, I've gone for Bournemouth. What about 18th in the Premier League? A lot of people have gone for Fulham, Southampton. I'm not going for Fulham. I'm actually going for Fulham to survive once and for all. Finally, they will survive a Premier League season. 18th for me, I've gone for a surprise. It might be a surprise for you guys. Brentford. Brentford to get relegated. What was I drinking on that day? Brentford to get relegated. I think that has to be up there with one of the worst predictions ever made in the history of any sports ever. Brentford to go down. You know what's funny? They're the only team to beat Man City home and away. They picked up a point at the Emirates. They trashed United by 4 goals. They picked up a win at Stamford Bridge. I think they picked up a win at Tottenham Stadium as well. Brentford to go down. Like, I need to know, what was my reason for Brentford going down? Let's hear this. Second season syndrome. Teams usually get relegated in the second campaign, as the likes of Huddersfield and the likes of Sheffield United recently getting relegated in the second season. I can see that happening to Brentford, unfortunately, losing Christian Eriksen. Yes, they're about to sign another of the Danish players, but I can't see it being enough. They've also added Ben Mee, good experience, good defender, but he was injured for Burnley last season. But I cannot see them surviving the second season. No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Brentford to go down is one of the worst predictions ever. Yes, I said second season syndrome. The likes of Huddersfield and Sheffield United have experienced it, where a team comes up, the first season they do well, and then the second season they go down. It has happened a lot of times in the Premier League, but Brentford to go down, I think that is very disrespectful. So I really, really apologize to the Brentford fans, because they had a very good season. They missed out on European football by just a bit. But I don't think any prediction is going to be as worse as this. Surely not. Brentford to go down. That's terrible. That's really, really bad. Well done, Brentford, for a great season. What about 7? Let's go to the top 7. Which team did I predict to finish 7th and qualify for the UEFA Conference League? The next position is 7th. I've gone for Aston Villa to finish 7th this time round. That was spot on. I actually went for Aston Villa to finish 7th, and they finished 7th. So I'm really, really happy with that prediction. I don't think many people would have put Aston Villa that high up, considering there's the top 6 teams, and some people expect Newcastle to be up there. Some people expecting the likes of Leicester maybe to be up there, all those teams. So I'm really happy that for putting Aston Villa 7th. Finally, a good prediction, a decent prediction. I will come to the rest of the table, but let's just do the main positions first. And let's talk about 6th. Which team did I predict to finish 6th in the table? I'm going to go for Man United to finish 6th. Sorry to Man United fans. I mean, in terms of away record, yes, I could have been right. But in terms of their home record, they're really brilliant this season. In terms of the season overall, they've had a good season. They've reached 2 cup finals. They've qualified. They finished third in the Premier League as well. Ten Hag's first season, I think, is a success for them. And I'm really, really interested to see how they build next season alongside the likes of Arsenal and the likes of Newcastle, the teams that have done well this season. Really looking forward to see how they do next season. But Man United sixth, I was far off, but I was off by 3 positions. So fair play to them. I'm not the only one who predicted them to finish out the top 4. I think many people actually went for the obvious teams who have been battling for the title the last 4 seasons, and then obviously Chelsea because of the money and everything. And also people went for Tottenham because of Conte. So plenty of people predicted Arsenal and Man United to finish outside the top 4. But did I predict those teams? Which teams did I go for to finish in the top 4? But first, where did I predict Arsenal to finish in the Premier League table? This time around, I have gone for Arsenal to finish in third, an improvement from last season. Last season, I predicted 5th, so you can tell that I'm a bit confident this season. Yeah, I was very confident, and it didn't turn out to be false. It turned out to be a positivity pretty much. I went for third. We actually ended up finishing second. Good prediction on my side. I wasn't doing that because of being biased or anything. No, the previous season I predicted Arsenal to finish 5th, and I think the previous season I predicted Arsenal to finish like 6th or something. So it's not biased. I just felt like we getting Zinchenko and the likes of Jesus who dock out fast this season, and obviously Saka and Martinelli good seasons the previous year. I also thought Smith Rowe be there this season as well. He didn't, but the rest of the players who played did okay. So that was a good prediction. On my side, Arsenal qualifying for the Champions League. But which team did I go for to finish as champions, and which teams did I go for to finish in the top 4? That is my final table. Man City to win the league, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea to secure top 4. Chelsea to finish second. I went for Chelsea to finish second in the Premier League table. There are 10 positions off that, and about like 40 points off that. So that was but I don't think anyone would have predicted Chelsea to have such a bad season. I went for Man City champions, so that was spot. And I also went for Liverpool to finish in the top 4. I think everyone went for Liverpool to finish in the top 4. That did not work out. But the rest of the table, I think I went for Newcastle to finish it was really like somewhere between 11th and 14th or something like that. Bad prediction. They did very well this season. I don't even think Newcastle fans expected them to be like in the top 4 for the entire season. So a couple of really disastrous predictions there in terms of Brentford, in terms of Chelsea, but a couple of good ones like Arsenal and Aston Villa. But what about individual stats? Who did I go for to finish as the Premier League's top scorer? My top scorer, I've gone for Erling Haaland, actually. I think people are laughing at him after missing a couple of chances against Liverpool, but when he starts firing, he'll be scoring 3 or 4 goals. He'll be scoring 3 or 4 goals. On my almighty, did he score 3 or 4 goals? He scored how many hat-tricks did he score? A lot. And a lot of braces as well. I think he scored a hat-trick against Man United. He scored a brace against West Ham. Did he score a hat-trick against someone like a Bournemouth or something, Crystal Palace, someone? I think Nottingham Forest or something. He did score a lot of hat-tricks. It's even very, very hard to remember them, but he broke the Premier League record in terms of goals in a season. So well done to him. A lot of people's player of the season, so well done to him. But what about after Haaland? Who are the rest of my top scorers in the top 5? The top 5 scorers, Haaland, Salah, Kane, Jesus, and Sterling for Chelsea. You can see Jesus banging for Arsenal and Sterling banging for Chelsea as well. And Kane, as always, Salah all have penalties and they always score goals. I mean, Haaland spot on, Kane spot on. Salah did score goals and assists as always. He always does that every single season. So I think that's also an easy one to predict. I did go for Jesus to finish in the top 5. I mean, he still scored a lot of goals for us in the games that he was there. Not as many as expected him to, but he was injured for almost half of the season. So I think if he was fit in December and January and February and half of March as well, I think you'd have gotten to at least 17 or 18. So not the worst prediction, pretty much. I almost said baddest. That's not an actual one. The other player is Sterling. Disaster of a season for him and Chelsea as well. So let's see what they do next season, but I did not expect Sterling to be that bad. But actually, in a couple of games this season for them, he's the only one who's looked a bit positive. I think he scored a brace for them against Leicester. He also scored a brace for them against, was it Nottingham or something? So Sterling has had a couple of goals here and there in contributions. But what about the most assists? Who did I go for to have the most assists in the Premier League? In terms of assists, it's going to be De Bruyne again. Son is going to be up there this time round again. Saka, just like last season. I mean, De Bruyne and Saka, they were up there in terms of most assists, and De Bruyne finished top, so I was accurate with that. And I think Saka finished like second or third or something. Trusted I wouldn't have guessed that. I didn't even think he was going to go and join Arsenal in the middle of the season. But good predictions in terms of that. Son, disappointing season for him, but we all know his qualities. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays, like if Kane is not there next season. So that's one thing to look forward to. Last one, manager of the season. Who did I go for? I do remember who I went for. So this one wasn't good. My manager of the season, I've gone for Steven Gerrard. Yes, Steven Gerrard has Villa to finish 7th, and Steven Gerrard to get manager of the season. Steven Gerrard, manager of the season. You know what he does right now? He's a pundit. Like, my manager of the season has been a pundit for the last couple of months for the Champions League. Like, that's how bad that prediction was. He's no longer even a manager this season. So I did go for Aston Villa to finish 7th. So that was a good prediction, but I thought they were going to do it to Gerrard, but they ended up doing it to Unai Emery. So as you can see, these predictions are never easy. Some of them you'll nail it. I nailed the Premier League top scorer, also the most assists, also second, like in terms of Harry Kane in top scorer, and also second the most assists. In terms of champions, I think many people would guess Man City. Also went for Arsenal to finish in the top 4. But there's some of them, like Brentford getting relegated, I still can't get over that. Brentford to get relegated, that was bad. I think I also went for Newcastle to finish like 11th, 12th. I went for Southampton to stay up comfortably. Actually, I went for them to finish like 13th or something. That was bad as well. United to finish 6th. As I said, half of the people expected them to finish outside the top 4 alongside Arsenal, but both teams got top 4. So that was also kind of a bad prediction. But yes, out of 10 in these predictions, I'd probably give myself maybe 5 or 6 out of 10, just because of Arsenal and Aston Villa, and also top scorer and most assists. But in terms of relegation, that was a shocker, and also in terms of Chelsea and Liverpool, those were not shockers. Many people would expect them to be up there, but those were disappointing in terms of the predictions. But let me know, do you remember your predictions? Which team did you go for to finish as champions? Which team did you go for to qualify for the European spots? And which teams did you go for to get relegated? And let me know. Brentford to get relegated. Is that the worst prediction you've ever had? I believe so.